Welcome to the Internet We Imagine. I'd like to start with an acknowledgement of country. So I'd like to acknowledge the first Australians as the traditional custodians of the continent, whose cultures are among the oldest living cultures in human history. I pay respect to the elders of the community and extend my recognition to their descendants who are present. So today we'll be talking about the internet and the internet we imagine. So we all live the internet, we see it, we breathe it, we create our lives around it. In what shape does the internet survive? So I'm here with Veronica Fil, is a woman responsible for creating the lovable Tinder-crazed psychopath Ronnie Ramjet. She's the writer, creator, and lead actress in upcoming web series Heartbreaker. When she's not swiping right, she's leading her nimble team of wordsmiths at a digital creative agency with tunnels of content, focusing on brand storytelling and all-around left-field entertainment in lieu of traditional advertising. Veronica's also partial to the odd story slam. And we also have Jess Knight, who is a writer and feminist. She has completed a hot desk fellowship at the Wheeler Centre and is currently completing a writability fellowship thanks to the Writers Victoria. She has published 2 poetry books and lives in Melbourne. And we also have Beck Varco, who is a writer and events producer from Melbourne, and she writes funny things, silly things, sometimes serious things, and she makes the magazine Funny Haha. And there's also me. I'm Eliza Henry Jones. My debut novel In the Quiet was published last year. It's still 2016, and my next novel is coming out next year. So I believe that if Beck was going to start.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Let's do it. Okay. So I am reading about the internet that I personally imagine, and it's a future online where I have deleted my Twitter account and I'm no longer tweeting. I realized this afternoon when I was rereading this to myself that this may not actually be any good unless you follow me on Twitter and know that I'm really bad on Twitter. So apologies in advance to everyone who listens to this and is like, that was really bad, I don't get it at all. So with that stunning introduction, let me start. Also, I'm reading off my phone, so I'm not being cool. The year is 2020, the future, the majestic, amazing future. 2020, wow, it's so far away. The future, the great imagining. In 2020, we will finally have flying cars. We will be able to teleport. We will have cured cancer. It will be time for another grueling American election, but maybe a new president. And I will have stopped tweeting. Yes, the things we'll be able to do in the future. The internet will be free of trolls. We've sorted that out. It was easy. I can't tell you how we did it, but we did it. I won't repeat it because of the butterfly effect or whatever, but trust me, it's super simple. You're gonna lose it when you figure out how we do it. No more women have their nudes leaked. There's no more security leaks of any kind. Julian Assange has died of boredom in the Ecuadorian embassy. And me, I've stopped tweeting. In the future, using the internet, we can do everything you can imagine. You can cook a meal online and then 3D print it and it's edible. You can project a cafe into your living room and make your friends bad coffee and ignore them, and then you can pretend that you're out for brunch, except now it's free. And on the internet, I imagine, I've stopped tweeting, and also my entire internet history is gone. In the future, MySpace has relaunched in its original format. Turns out we all did want to rank our friends from 1 to 8 and learn basic code. Thanks to Girls Who Code initiatives worldwide, every woman aged 25 and over has a fantastic MySpace page, artfully decorated with color, custom text, and carefully curated music choices. Brands flock for collaborations, abandoning the now ancient Instagram platform, and instead pay for sponsored content to appear in the bulletin format. Again, if you didn't have MySpace, this will be meaningless to you. Awkward teens are still finding love on the MySpace platform like I did when I was 15. And me, what am I up to now? Wow, I've stopped tweeting. In the future, I imagine politicians and celebrities have been banned from Twitter. It's now only used for shitposting, memes, and comedians trying to get writing gigs for John Oliver, who's now in his millionth season and thinking of bringing back that drum thing that worked so well. In the future, I imagine I don't tweet. I cut that out long ago. And when I say long ago, I guess I mean maybe a year ago, because right now it's 2016 and I don't see myself stopping anytime soon, and 2020 is not that far away. I don't know if this lack of tweeting is for the best or not. Just the other day I made a joke so good that over 300 people liked it. That's right, 300 people. That's huge. What numbers? The fame and recognition that I have long deserved has finally come to me. But at what cost? Some of my tweets have gotten no faves. None. And they're the ones that make it out of my drafts. I tried to find some old tweets to read to you to demonstrate the importance of me no longer tweeting, but I couldn't even bring myself to get past the last 2 months. On October 27, I tweeted, "The worst thing about having a working TV again is that I'm somehow developing a weird crush on the calm dude in the Holden ads," followed by 7 question marks. A few days before this, my page is just a slew of rambling, hysterical takes on Australian Survivor. On October 22, I tweeted some selfies of me showing off my butt in a mirror that caused my favorite work colleague to unfollow me on Twitter and tell me all about how she had to unfollow me on Twitter because I made her uncomfortable with my oversharing. On October 1st, I tweeted, "Who will go see Chance the Rapper with me? Help me, please." No replies. On October 19, I tweeted, "I came here to make friends, chew gum, and embarrass myself in the DMs. I have no friends, I'm out of gum, and I did the last thing." That is probably the most accurate tweet I've ever written and should have been my last. Perhaps this rereading can be my declaration of my retirement from tweeting. If we don't all agree that the internet that we can all imagine would be better without my Twitter, I guess my work isn't done. How many more bad tweets do I need to put out into the world? I hope it's not too many, because I am tired and my phone is using too much data. That's the end.
I really enjoyed that.
Thanks, Eliza. I'm glad that you did.
And yeah, and everyone who's not already following Beck on Twitter, do yourself a favor and follow her. I think I'm going next. So the internet that I imagine. Your time is precious. You have apps that filter everyone around you. They tell you who to greet, who is compatible. You have learned how to interact on your screens. Interacting in person is unsettling, feels wrong, but you know what to do. You know about eye contact and about smiling. The internet has taught you. Your eyes sting from contact lenses. Your grandmother tells you that there was a time when people could see without lenses, but you scoff. She says, in the time before the screens, before the internet, people wore their lenses in a bridge over their noses called glasses. She says they were an oddity. She says they were teased. You roll your eyes, you don't believe her. The internet is like a vine curling through every facet of your life. It is part of the mirror you look in each day, part of the fridge that keeps your food cool. It is part of the air conditioner, a constant hum, keeping you comfortable in a world that shifts so quickly between boiling heat and quietly falling snow. Your grandmother talks about the world without the internet, but you shudder. It seems such a dark idea. Once, as a treat, your grandmother gave you an app which let you explore cities you have never been to. You explored the cities on your screens in surround sound. Those ones once on the coastline that are now deep underwater. Empty rooms and crumbling bricks, the arching shape of light posts. The screens are so quiet. Fish are a rarity, a prize, because the animals are disappearing. There is a global initiative to capture them on your phones like a Pokemon Go, but with real animals, the cluster of their pixels something to treasure. Photos have value now, proof that the lyrebird still exists, the coach butterfly, the wombat, so that scientists can track their decline, can mark them endangered rather than extinct. But you all know, it's just a matter of time. The internet grows your food. Nothing can be left to chance, constant monitoring and logging of conditions and growth and weather patterns as they shift across the continent. Gardening is now merely picking, like fast food from the earth. Your grandmother grieves over her old kitchen garden, but conditions are too harsh now for anything other than technology to manage. Women wear wristbands with panic buttons attached to online profiles. Every woman, always. Because it's up to women to keep themselves safe from men. It's too much to ask still that men don't target women. Your wristband itches, but you wear it. You all wear it, even your grandmother, who says she sort of misses the days when she walked with her car keys clenched between her fingers. Lying in bed, nostalgic for a parent's reflections on their childhood, you will flip onto their vintage Facebook profiles. You'll wrinkle your nose at the static yellowing photo albums from decades ago. You'll say they don't even move. You'll say there aren't any words. You'll scroll through Facebook and be comforted by the digital proof that you exist, that you are seen and loved, that your story is being preserved in something more valuable than the aged plastic-covered photo albums that have been passed down through the generations of your family. You are sorry for your parents and grandparents. You are sorry that their stories are incomplete, stored in plastic, and unmoving. Keyboards are kept in glass cases on mantelpieces, above fireplaces that are now never lit. You clasp them in your fingers, the thin plastic wedge of them, and you wonder. As a treat, maybe the antique computer has been handed down through the generations we brought down and removed from its case. You will be given the keyboard to press, to type with, to marvel at how rudimentary the world had been, to once again feel pity. You can't imagine having to type. You slip your glasses off and blink at the blurred distance. You imagine. Never for long, though. The internet is the tug of the tide drawing you in, carrying you out, and you let it. Over and over, you let it, because your time is precious. I'm done. So I think next we have Jess.
Yes. When I'm reading it on my screen, can people still see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Even if I put my Word document up to read from?
Yeah. I can still see you.
I haven't got it up yet. Hang on. I'm going to do it now. Okay. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes,
I can't see you. Oh
we'll
my
be
God.
able to see you.
The internet.
This is amazing. Okay. Okay, I'll start mine. The internet we imagine. The internet that I imagine is an intersectional feminist utopia. Some people think that that would be a bad thing. Some people think that is a way of silencing people. But the only people that would be silenced in an internet that is an intersectional feminist utopia are people like the person who sends dick pics to their prospective date as a greeting. If someone was going to send an unsolicited dick pic from their computer or phone, in my intersectional feminist utopia, that dick pic sender would get a little electric shock from his device straight into his fingertips as soon as he tried to press send. In my intersectional feminist internet utopia, white feminism would no longer be the default poster child for feminism. When you enter the internet of an intersectional feminist utopia, there would be women of all colours and body types. You would know just as much about Muslim feminism as you would about disability feminism. The rights of Indigenous people, Australians, would also be better understood and carried out, as would trans inclusionary feminism. These would no longer be considered by some as inconvenient or too complicated concerns. I know that we can do this. In the internet I imagine, that is an intersectional feminist utopia, I would not get random messages from men claiming to be the voice of reason, annoying and baiting me as I try to concentrate on my own writing and educating myself to better help my internet imaginings to become a reality. Men telling me in no uncertain terms that I have it all wrong and that it is feminism that is the delusion. This guy, who was a friend from years ago, felt the need to ask me about how I felt about that film about men's rights activists no longer being shown at the Palace cinemas. When I commented that I was pleased, he said that I was a bad feminist, as the film had been made by a woman. The film gave a platform to a man who believed that rape was acceptable. Women can be damaging to the cause of intersectional feminist utopias being built. This guy did not actually care about any of it. He simply wanted to purge all his faux intellectual bullshit at my feet and then rub my face in it and then call me a fascist. In my intersectional feminist utopia, guys like that would not be able to send such rubbish. The internet, I imagine, would look for certain phrases and words, and if the messages were seen to have a substantial amount of racist, sexist, or rape culture material, the person about to send it all would be redirected to a host of web pages that could educate and illuminate that person. It would be up to that person to take the time to read or watch the talks/articles. I know it may not happen. I know that people would find ways around it, but this is the internet I want to imagine for now. Today, my friend received a message from a guy on OkCupid who was a 53% match to her. His actual profile name was The Triggering. Straight up, he was making light of a serious and unpleasant emotional and very visceral effect that trauma survivors can experience when faced with something that makes them have flashbacks. Here is what this person sent to my friend as a greeting. Do you know what it is like to learn that your whole life is a lie? Your thoughts, actions, interests, perceptions of reality, all a misguided projection stemming from ignorance, if not stupidity. This is how an ex-feminist feels once waking up from a cozy utopian hallucination. These ex-feminists would probably feel like a fool, knowing that all along they were causing more harm than good, unknowingly promoting segregation, censorship, indoctrination, and just bad science. Time to take the red pill. Feminism is a cultural cancer in disguise designed to enslave our minds. End quote. In the internet that I imagine, the intersectional feminist utopia internet, minds have been freed from the enslavement that is white, capitalist, patriarchal oppression. In the internet that I imagine, the triggering is someone who does not exist anymore, not because they have been shot from a cannon into the sun, but because they read some bell hooks and Audre Lorde and listen to the women around them. His own ignorance and stupidity would dawn on him like a painful stomach bug with both nausea and diarrhea. The intersectional feminist utopia that I imagine the internet to become is good for all of us. To make the internet that I imagine, when should we start in building it, you might ask? We already have. We just need to finish it. Mic drop. Done.
That was sensational. I want to live in your intersectional feminist utopia, please.
Don't we
I'm
all?
pretty sure I dated that guy on OkCupid.
Yeah, totally look him up. Messing with
He
him.
might be on the wall.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And lucky last, we have Veronica.
Sorry, guys. Carolyn, fucking. Sorry, guys. Shut the fucking music off, Carolyn. Jesus. Sorry, guys. Just my fucking housemate again. Anyway, ignore my friend. We've just been arguing all day about having a little bit of an issue. As I just said to Jessica, I've had quite a few interesting dates of late. I mean, I am well regarded as Australia's most fabulous Tinder psychopath. I think I've had about 120 dates now and counting. But this last one I had, this guy I met a few weeks ago, I think he's a little bit different. Anyway, back to the internet we imagined. But I think this is really relevant just before I'll get to that, but if you just let me, sorry. I'm so nervous because he was meant to text me. Anyway, let me tell you the story. He started by saying, just tell me a secret. And I mean, my big secret is that before I started on Tinder, I actually had never had a one-night stand in my life. You know, but with the emergence of social media and online communication and everything, I can't tell you how quickly I swirled down that rabbit hole. Delicious.
Sure fucking did. You're such a slut. Oh, God.
Fuck off. Sorry, just Carolyn again. Anyway, I'm starting to really enjoy it. I mean, I actually don't mind the odd dick pic, but, you know, if you've ever seen that dicks in shoes thing, even better. Sometimes I like to send them back to the guys that send me dick pics. Anyway, this guy said, tell me a secret. And so I did. I said, you know, I'm a little bit timid. It was all lies. And I got him to reciprocate. By then, I'm kind of jaded because I've, you know, had this conversation 100 times before, again and again and again. And he goes, my secret is that sometimes I wonder what it would look like if I shot myself in the head and my brains just spiraled out onto the floor. So that was different. I was in immediately because, I mean, as a lady who used to religiously look at rotten.com in my youth. Oh, delightful. Anyway, we worked out really quickly that there'd actually been some kind of Tinder misfire, and he actually lived in Sydney and I'm in Melbourne. So, you know, a missed opportunity. I'm like, whatever, dude, it's all fine. You know, good luck with your sexing or whatever. Anyway, and I went back to my day. But then a couple of hours later, he rang me again or texted me again, and we just started talking and just got along really well. I was already meant to be on a date that night, so I found myself like texting him back from the toilets, as you do, or every time he got up to get me a drink, I'd just like send through another Snapchat of my boobs to this guy that I've been chatting to as well. But I don't know, we just started talking, and it just creepily got really intense too fast. And then by like 4 in the morning, I find that we're still talking. And he's got to be at work in a minute because he's a barista at a cafe in Sydney. And then by 5 a.m, it's like, shit, he's got to go to work. And I'm like, oh, well, this has been an amazing chat. You know, hope to speak to you soon. Bye. Went off to sleep. The first thing in the morning, I get another message from him. Like, it's 8 o'clock by the time I wake up. And he's like, hey, you know, I feel like I can't stop talking to you. I just want to keep going. And I'm like, all right, cool. We'll just add it to my list of 100 other suitors that I'm talking to this week. But anyway, we kept going. And I guess it got to the point where over the next few days, we just didn't stop talking back and forth, to the point where it's actually starting to influence my work. And, you know, I'm starting to reject client phone calls because I'm too busy talking about my favorite San Remo pasta with this guy. And then, I mean, I stopped even going on all of these dates, which was weird because, you know, I love the D. What? Suddenly I'm prioritizing this guy that lives on the other side of the city, not even the city, the fucking state. I couldn't stop thinking about him. I know this all sounds probably pretty weird, but like, I guess that's the future of the internet and the way that we communicate with each other. I said to him, do you think this is weird? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty bloody weird, but stuff it. Let's just keep going and see what happens. It's the future of the internet. But like hundreds of kilometers away and connected to the shining light of our smartphone, I just miss this guy. We're just connected by this invisible tether that trails from my pocket to his. We started to take each other everywhere in that way, like into the supermarket, take him into the gym with me, little Snapchat of my legs, witness the fitness, motherfucker. I guess neither of us had ever felt so inseparable to another human. I know I'm being really obsessive about it. Like, it was just getting to the point where he was about to be fired from work because he's telling customers to piss off at his cafe so that he can send me a Snapchat of a cafe latte. Bonsoy, yeah. Where are you now, Miller? Are you watching? What are you watching on TV? Hey, what are you thinking? Hey, here's a picture of me cooking pancakes. My heart races every time I get a text from him. It's really sweet, actually, but the other night we fell asleep just cradling our phones next to each other on our pillows. I think he actually sang me a lullaby. And I was like, that's so gay. And he's like, you can't say gay. That's really, really fucking inappropriate, Veronica. Anyway, we realized the only thing we could do was to meet each other and just get this shit under control because this is insane. So last Sunday, he flew to Melbourne and I came down to pick him up from the Skybus terminal, my heart beating out of its chest like I'm about to have, you know, a heart attack. And when I saw him, I just ran up to him, like jumped on his back because I don't know, he felt like I'd already been there with him for weeks and weeks, for years even. I just jumped into his arms like a golden retriever and gave him this disgusting sloppy pash. And from there it was on. Like, we spent the next 3 days having so much fun, you know, getting drunk, hanging out at Naked for Satan and Black Cat, and you know, maybe a bit of cherry bar involved there as well. Good times. Anyway, this is where it starts to get uncomfortable though, because he went home on Wednesday night and he was even crying when he was up at the Skybus terminal. And I don't know, I haven't felt that before. Like, out of 120 dates, out of all of these, you know, delightful men, I've never actually like found one that made me feel like that. And this one's making me feel nervous now. But anyway, it was awful to have to see him off at the Skybus, but it was also really uplifting because I know that, you know, there might be a future there. And that's not something I felt before. But and yesterday I didn't actually hear from him. That's kind of weird. That's what Carol and I have been arguing about all the time, because she's saying that I'm acting like a, you know, stupid little anxiety-prone girl and hanging by the telephone. I know that he'll call me. He's probably just really busy or something. Anyway, I gave in eventually. Like, I know I shouldn't say anything to him and I shouldn't be naggy and I shouldn't be like, oh, hey, dude, like, what's up? But I gave in eventually yesterday because it's like 24 hours and I haven't heard a thing, which is really abnormal. I'm just like, dude, did you use up all of your words when you were over the other day? Like, what happened? And he shot back a message to me straight away saying, oh, hey, sweetie, don't worry, I'm right here. I'm just really, really busy at work. And I thought, phew. But then the next thing he says, he's like, you know, sweetheart, it's a real fucking turn off when you are so clingy. So just back off. Anyway, so yeah, that was just a little while ago and I feel really weird about it. So I'm getting really distracted. That's kind of things doesn't usually happen to me. What? Sorry, I just got a Snapchat. Something. I'm sure he's gonna forgive him. Oh. Carolyn. Look. Sorry guys, I don't know. He's sending another Snapchat, look at that. Okay. No, I don't know what that means. He just sent a Snapchat to me. It's just like him dancing around his room with his brother at home going like, oh, you stupid fucking bitch, you just got fucked over by a man. Sorry, I think I fucked up my thing. I just don't understand why someone would do that. I thought we had a future and I just don't see why the closer the internet makes us, the lonelier I feel. Sorry guys, I gotta go.
Well, thanks for
Sorry guys, you can listen to the whole song if you want, but that's just another production to you by Heartbreaker TV. Love Ronnie Ramjet, the Tin Psychopath. And that's a completely true story. That actually happened to me 2 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, that was
I never heard from him again.
I think we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you for everyone that's come to listen to us, and thank you so much to Veronica and Jess and Beck. I've had a very, very lovely time listening to you. And yeah, goodbye. Have a lovely night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.